Hey guys, I'm Alan Jimenez, real estate broker, and today I'm going to teach you how to buy a house here in Texas. This is going to be a crash course on how you buy a property here in Texas the easy way. Save you heartache and save you a headache. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is, drum roll please, get pre-approved. What does that mean? That means basically you just talk with the lender and you tell them what your situation is, how much money you make, what's your debt look like. They do this all over the phone. They just take a little verbal overview. How does your credit look? They may even pull your credit, and that's just fine. What they're going to be looking for is to be asking you all these questions. How much money do you make? Tell me about your revolving credit. Some of the stuff they'll pull off their credit, such as maybe credit card payments you are making, revolving payments you're making to school, this kind of things. They'll also see if you're paying child support. And what happens is that they're taking about, let's say, just for instance, you're making $10,000 a month. Well, they want to stay about 43% of that will go to revolving debt, to revolving your credit cards, car notes, child support, any kind of payment plans you have set up maybe with the IRS, whatever, any kind of payments that are revolving, all of that, including the house you want to buy, needs to equal about 43% of your gross income. That's before taxes are all taken out. So if you're making $10,000 a month, in general, before the taxes are taken out, then they say, okay, well, $4,300 of that money per month can go towards the house, to his credit cards, to go to child support, whatever the case is, whatever 43% is, that's where you will be approved of. This is the general rule of thumb for Texas and probably the United States. Okay, so moving forward, what do you need? What is to be expected when you are, now that you said, okay, well, here's everything. This is what I do. You're doing it over the phone. They're going to ask you how much money you make, blah, how long you've been on your job. And that's one other question. They're going to say, how long have you been on your job? They're going to say, well, you need at least, usually about 1 year of being in that type of field. Now, if you change positions, maybe you went from ABC electrical to DEF electrical. It's the same type of position, you just change job, that's no problem. But they do not like when you change job, employers, and different careers, if that makes any sense. It gives kind of like an orange flag, not a red flag, but an orange one. So that's one thing. They want to make sure you're on the job. They want to make sure you can pay this payment. So another thing they're going to be looking for is your taxes. You're like, okay, well, he said he made X amount of dollars per month. In that other case, it was $10,000, so he should be making about $120,000 a year. Now, give me those tax documents from the last 2 years, and I want to verify that. That's what they're going to call a 4506T form. They make you sign. They send that off to the IRS. Say, hey, is this fraud or is this real? Hey, this guy's good. Okay, yeah, he made this much money. Okay, no problem. They put you in your file. Then they're going to give you what they call a hard approval. That means the underwriter taking a look at taking a look at your file, took a look at your taxes, took a look at your credit, took a look at your pay stubs, took a look at any kind of court decrees, such as if you're collecting child support or paying child support, or you're some kind of payment plan. They're looking at everything. That's when you get a hard approval. But usually, 99% of the time, they want to wait till you get a property under contract, okay? So we kind of jumped the gun on the loan approval process. We went from pre-approval to a hard underwriting approval, but we skipped one step. So let's go ahead, let's get this pre-approval, and this is the paper. This is the paper that you're gonna take with you when you go and actually look for a property. So you're gonna have, so you find a property, it's gonna say, oh, okay, I found one for $350,000. You have the pre-approval here for $350,000. Say, yeah, I'm approved to get this, buy this house. This lets the seller know that they already took a look at your files, kind of, not totally. Pre-approval is like he understands this is a verbal pre-approval. So your offer is not as strong as a cash offer. That's for sure. So a cash offer will supersede you most likely. It's a lot easier. There's not an appraisal involved, and we're going to talk about appraisals in just a second. Okay, so now you've been pre-approved. You finally got your pre-approval, thank the Lord. Now it's time to go and look for that house. So now what I advise you is really just take a piece of paper, it's easy as that, talk with your spouse, talk with yourself. What do you need versus what you want? So needs are like how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, minimum square feet. So if you don't know your square footage you're living in now, ask your apartment complex or the person who owns your property, like, hey, how big is this place? You know, 1,200, okay, it's too small or it's too big. Okay, I need at least, you know, 1.5 times that. So I need, you know, 1,800 square feet minimum. And keep in mind, this is another good thing, is that the way these systems are set up, the way these forms are set up, realtors are, and yourself, if you decide to search yourself, they're not set up where, like, I'll give you a perfect example. If I need a house that's 300 and you say I want to be a max price of 350,000. Well, if a house is 350,000 and $1, you won't even come up with, it won't even come up in the results. So these things are kind of like set in stone. They're really hardcore. There's no like, this one is close to it. You know, it's like, this is so close. No, so think about really what you want. Think about what your needs are and what your wants. Take a look at those final results. Take a look at those results you get and then refine it. Like, okay, well, I'm getting like 175 houses in this little area. And keep in mind, one other tip I give you, don't use a zip code, because zip codes are like this. They're weird. They're not like perfect squares. So use the map function and just circle a little area. Circle a little area that you like, and then keep refining and refining. So if you're getting more than 25 results, let's refine a little bit more. Okay, like, okay, built after what year? Like 2000? You want it no more than 20 years old? Okay, let's do that. See what results you get, and then keep on refining and refining. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna save that search, and you wanna set up where it's an auto alert. Very easy to do. In fact, I might even do one with you guys, or maybe on the next video, is that with these auto alerts, as soon as that property fits your criteria, so let's say that house is $350,000 and $1. Well, the owner of that house says, let's reduce it $1 or $2. Let's make it $349,999. Bing, 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 bing. Now that house fits your criteria, alerts you, say, hey, this house fits your criteria, go take a look. And that instant alert, you being ready to go take a look at a house, and oh my God, I've been waiting for a house like this. This is what I want. I've been dreaming about it. This is what I want. Stop, I gotta take my break. Boss, can I take off? I'm taking off, I gotta go look at this house. That's what you gotta do sometimes. And that's how you become king of the system. You make the deals, because sometimes a deal's gonna come and it's gonna be hot. And a lot of people are savvy buyers nowadays, and so they have these alerts set up, like boom, that property is fantastic. So stop what I'm doing, go to take a look, because you can save yourself $10, $20, $50, $100,000 by having these alerts set up, acting appropriately, and getting in there, putting that offer in. We're gonna talk about the offer next. Getting it done, locking it down, and then you're good to go. Save yourself a whole lot of money and headache and heartache. Okay, what else? Now, moving on. Okay, so now you found the house. Let's say, for instance, you did find the house that you really, really like. Some things to watch out for. Number one that I see a lot here in Texas is flood insurance, flood zones. So be very, very careful. Secondly, well, no, I'm not gonna jump. Flood zones, you need to check with the agent during your buyer option period. Your buyer option period, we're gonna talk about it more, it just allows you to back out for any reason. For that buyer option period has to be written in the contract. It's usually on page 1. It says, hey, I'm gonna give you $100 for 10 days, $250, $500, but it depends on the price of the house. Whether if it's $2 million, they're like, yeah, give me $300, $500, whatever the case. That allows you to back out, just like, I don't like the house anymore. But this, what it really is for you to do your due diligence. What that means is you doing your homework on the house. Go check and make sure you can get insurance on it at a good price, and the flood insurance. Check the HOA dues, things that you really don't have the time to be looking at in depth, you know, before you're in contract, because you got to move fast sometimes when these deals come. So this buyer option period says, hey, seller, I'm going to give you $100. Let me lock this house down for 10 days and see if everything works out. Then yeah, we'll continue. If everything works out, I'll go ahead and buy the house. But if I don't like the house, keep the $100, give me my earnest money back, and I'll see you later. That's exactly what it's for in summary. That's what earnest money on the buyer's option fee is for. It's for like wasting the seller's time, no problem, keep the $100. But if you do go ahead and complete the transaction, you go ahead and buy the property, that $100, $250, $500, whatever it is in the option period gets credited to you at closing, okay? Now we need to figure out what we need to do for the bidding process. Okay, so you need to make sure you put in a good bid, and a good bid if you really, really like the house, depending on the market. But you also want to make sure you get a good deal. So you want to talk to your realtor and say, hey, send me a CMA. When you say CMA, it's like, oh, geez, this guy knows, he must have been looking at Alan's videos. God damn, he knows his stuff. So a CMA is a comparable market analysis. So let's say, for instance, you live in the house that let's say the house that you like is a certain neighborhood where the houses are ranging 300,000, okay, 300 to 400,000. But you need to find a comp that is very similar. A comp is a house that is basically comparing apples to apples. Let's just make it easy here, folks. You want to compare apples to apples. Don't compare an apple to a strawberry, apple to an orange, or apple to a watermelon, because it won't work. And what I mean by that, if you take a house in one neighborhood and it's built in 2000, and it's 2-story and has a 5,000 square foot lot, don't compare it to a house in another subdivision that's a couple of miles away, that's brand spanking new, and it's 4-story. It doesn't have any yard. You see, we kind of look for characteristics that are very, very, very similar. The closer, the better. So usually when you're buying in the city here in Houston, everything's kind of like, there's a lot of houses here, especially it's really condensed when you get over here close to Houston, downtown and Heights and Montrose and West University. There's a lot of houses to pick out for. So you cannot compare a house from Edo to River Oaks. You can't compare a house from Heights to West University. You can't compare these two neighborhoods. We usually try to stay as close as possible, usually within a half-mile, 1-mile radius. And when you get out to the suburbs, and it's a lot of space between the houses, then yes, that's when they go to, up to a 3-mile radius. It just depends on that appraiser, okay? So now we're going to be talking about, we're going to continue talking about putting in the best offer. You're putting in a market analysis, or you are looking for a comparable, that houses that sold nearby that are similar. Same yard size, same square footage, same kind of a year build, same kind of characteristics, wood floors, granite, whatever the case may be. We're trying to find something similar to compare it, okay? And that's basically what we did. I'm not gonna overwhelm you. That's what we. But have your realtor, your broker, make you a new one. You can even ask, if you're gonna do it yourself, you can ask different realtors to make you one. Say, hey, can you take time to make me a CMA? Maybe he can generate some business. Maybe he can convince you to work with him for a 1%, 2%, a flat fee. So it depends, just if you find a realtor and you already found the house, say, I just need you to write the contract, negotiate the deal. Then, okay, well, I'll tell you what, give me 1.5%. You already found the house. Come on, I'll do it for you. No problem. It makes it a lot easier, right? So, work with these realtors if you already find. Now, if you didn't find a house, then you do need to find somebody aggressive, somebody to save you a headache and heartache and money. So, we talked about the bidding process. Now, what is your rights? What happens now? You put your bid in, or actually, we need to talk about that. What should you be looking? What happens to this bidding process? Okay, so you put your price. Once you find your comparables, you kind of find a price. These houses have been selling here. There's one exactly the same, 2 blocks away, sold for $325. Let's offer $325 and we'll go from there. Well, there's some things in the contract you need to be doing. So a couple of things is that buyer's option period. It's usually on the first page, usually on the bottom it says buyer's option. It should say X amount of dollars, usually $100, could be as high as $500 for 10 days. And this allows you to back out for any reason. You don't like the color, whatever the case is. But remember, you lose that money if you walk away from the deal. But that's for wasting the seller's time. No worries. Now, another little thing I like to put in there is third-party financing condition. Well, it's just fancy verbiage to say, hey, I'm looking for financing at X%, and I don't want to pay this much in loan origination fees, and I don't want it to be over 30 years or less than 30 years, okay? And if I can find that, then I'll take the house. But if I cannot find that kind of loan within X amount of days, then I want to back out. and get my earnest money back. You always have to protect your earnest money. So it's your earnest money is $1,000 and all the way up to 1% of the sales price of the house. So it's $1 million, you got $10,000 in earnest money. So yeah, you want to watch out. So this is really time sensitive. Put that in your calendar. When you get executed, that means the seller and the buyer have both signed off. You have an executed contract now. Turn into the title company. We'll talk about the title company in a jiffy. I said a jiffy. Okay, so you're like, okay, so now we've gotten a price. We put it in a bid. We're talking about some loopholes. We said, okay, buyer's option, third-party financing condition. You want the, you also want to put in there 5 to 10 days for whenever you get the title commitment. You want that, you want to be able to back out in case there's some kind of issue with the title commitment. Title commitment just says, hey, there's a, the title company like, hey, shh, hey, you. No, it's not a secret. Did you know that there's an easement in the back, right? Yeah, back in the 70s, there's a big easement. That means the city can start digging right next to your house. Or, hey, did you know there's an easement from the neighbor next door? He can get on your house yard anytime he wants. It's going to be on your Schedule C and your title commitment, Schedule B or A, all these different things. So give yourself another loophole. This is our third loophole now, the title commitment. Title commitment loophole, back out of the contract, protect that earnest money. That's if you like money and want to stay out of lawsuits, right? You don't like, nobody likes to get caught up in a lawsuit. Come on now. So now we have the third part. We have third party, we have a financing loophole. We get the buyer option loophole. We got a title commitment loophole. What other loophole do I like? This is a good one. Seller's disclosure loophole. Number 4. You got 4 loopholes I like to write in my contract. This is protecting your earnest money and make sure you don't get sued. Make sure, put in there like, oh, I want 5 days to review. I have not received a seller's disclosure, which tells me everything that's wrong with this house legally that he knows about. If he doesn't know about it, fine. But if he does know about it and he doesn't disclose it, you could sue his butt. Yeah, you didn't know that, huh? Yeah, so if you're selling a house, make sure to fill out your seller's disclosure correctly. Say, hey, this as far as I know. There's no roof leaks as far as I know, you know. If you don't know it, you don't know it. And that's the same thing on his side. You have to be able to, you have to take the seller's disclosure, review it, and sign it, and send it back to him. You see? So you want to put this loophole, hey, I want 5 days to look at the seller's disclosure. I have not got it, and I want to be able to back out if I see something on that seller's disclosure I don't like. Okay, so now we got 4 disclosures, 4 loopholes: seller's disclosure, financing condition, buyer's option, and then title. These are 4 different loopholes to protect you, to protect you out of lawsuits, because this is no joke. These are contracts, and these things can get very sticky. I've had people start lawsuits, and it can happen. This is very time sensitive, no games. This is no time for you to get some realtor. If you don't know what you're doing, let a lawyer do it for you. You know, this is very sensitive. Okay, so now we talked about all these loopholes. We talked about making a good price. Now we're going to talk about a title company. I just usually like to use Fidelity National Title. And look for the nearest Fidelity National Title. They've just been around forever. That's my 2 cents. I mean, I'm not affiliated with them at all, but they've just been around forever. There's a bunch of them here, because if one goes bankrupt, a lot of lawyers are doing now title insurance and selling it to you. It's just Texas standard. It's very easy to do, notarize, review the docs. But if you have a problem, you want to go ahead and you want to have a place to send that person who has a problem with your insurance, your title insurance. And what happens is, I'm going to give you a real quick example. Title insurance, it says, hey, if you have a problem with this house after you buy it, as like the tax people say, hey, taxes haven't been paid, or maybe a carpenter hasn't been paid, or a contractor hasn't been paid, the water bill hasn't been paid, something that affects the title of this deal, maybe like a lost daughter, says, hey, this is my house. You know, like, I knocks on your door 5 years after you bought the house. No, I didn't agree to this. It's supposed to be a rental. No, well, excuse me, hold on. Ma'am, call Fidelity National Title. Here goes the phone number. I don't know. This is my insurance on the title. Call them. Just like this you just had an accident. Shh, somebody knocked on your door. This is an accident. Hey, This Jose, you owe me $2,500 for this roof I did. Sir, I don't know. Contact the insurance company. My title insurance. So don't buy a house without title insurance. If you use a reputable one with multiple locations everywhere, because if they go bankrupt, you're gonna have a headache kind of like finding them. You have to go through the state. It's just not worth it. I'm not affiliated with them. Take my word for it. Okay. So now that's the title insurance. That's where you're gonna turn in your earnest money. The option fee goes to the seller and you lose it in case you need to back out. Only if you back. You get it back if you decide to buy the house. Now, what else is there? This is time sensitive stuff, so you have to move fast. Now, during your buyer option, you need to do your buyer inspection. Do your inspection, have a contractor. In my case, I know because I build homes and rehab them, so it's good to get you a realtor that has that experience. Why, you say? Because we can write up an estimate really quickly. In time, remember, it's all time sensitive. We don't have a bunch of time to be getting a lot of contractors out there. So say, hey, this driveway's cracked. We're gonna have to remove it. We're gonna get the Bobcat out here at $600 a day, plus the trash. Let's just say it's $5,000. This roof, it's 2,000 square foot roof. It's gonna cost about $4,500. 45.5 plus time, $10,000 in adjustments. Adjustments is hey, here goes the estimate. I write the estimate, or the realtor that you're working with writes an estimate, says, hey, it's a good estimate for the repairs that need to be done. That's attached to this inspection. We got the inspection on the house. Here's the estimates to fix it. Now, seller, it's my option period. I can back out. Here, I need you to fix this. You're going to give them what you call an amendment. Now, remember, it's time sensitive. I keep saying that because I want to hammer you away. I want to hammer you away how sensitive it is with time. So put in your Google Calendar, hey, buyer's option up. If you have 10 days, put 9 days and 6 hours. Hey, and I need to have it. It's words don't matter for crap in real estate. Words are nothing. It's all about that signature. You have to get that buyer and that seller to sign off. Super time sensitive. No trusting words. Write that down, please. There is no words. There is no, oh, he said, she said. No. It's in a text message. No, not really, no. We need to have an amendment sign, a piece of paper that says, in facts, no opinions. No opinion. I want it to be a steel color blue or something. No. I'll give you seller to pay buyer or credit buyer at closing $10,000 for said repairs on attached estimate and attach inspection. I'm just putting that, but just put cold hard facts. That's what you want to put in an amendment. Get the seller to sign it, you sign it, put it in your docs, email it to all parties. Why, you say? Because you want to CYA, cover your ass. In case you go out to court one day and say, I didn't agree, that seller says, I didn't agree with the $10,000. Sir, let me present you with a document here. Did you sign this here, $10,000 for these repairs? Oh, let me present you with another document here. I see here that you signed and it was sent to you through email along with the title company with that document. Judge could be like, $10,000 to plaintiff, or whatever that case is, $10,000 to him, and plus the time, plus the court fees, is $25,000 to you because you covered your ass. The real estate is no joke. This is no fun and games. This is business. So now we talked about that. We talked about negotiating. We talked about getting that inspection done, getting your contractor there, renegotiating during the option period, how time sensitive it is. Now we're going to move over to closing. You know, we found your house. We got it into inspection. We talked about these little people that are involved. And if you're doing it yourself, that's fantastic. That's cool too, no problem. We talked about working with a realtor and how they're valuable to you if you get you a good one. Let's move on to closing now. What to expect during closing. Here goes some things. I'm going to give you some of the best tips that I have over the last 15 years. That going to closing, you need to watch out for wire fraud. So you should be getting an email from the title company, but this is the thing, is that these emails, there's a lot of fraudulent activity out there now. I mean, it is intricate. I mean, these people are smart. And it'll say, yeah, I'm from Fidelity National Title, wired here to this fund, wired to this account. Whenever you get that email, look for the phone number. Make sure that phone number matches with the Fidelity National Title, if you have to Google, that's why it's so important to go, and get a big reputable company. Google yourself Fidelity National Title and what location and who's the agent or who's the person handling that. Make sure the phone number, call them, go down there, because they only take wire funds, and you're wiring $10,000, and so you need to verify the account information that you're wiring to. And I love for you just to go down there. That's my point of view. Go down there. Hey, is this it? And if you have to record, get your little glasses. I'm sending you $10,000. It's not that hard. I'm sending it to this account, because there's so much wire fraud out there. I mean, it's bad. Ooh, watch out. So, title company. We talked about what they're about, how they protect you. You talked about wire fraud. They don't like taking checks at the title company, and make sure they only take like a cashier's check, certified funds, for stuff that's less than like $10,000 most of the time. And sometimes take your checkbook if you're a little bit off, maybe $25 or something like that. All right, give me a check. But if it's a big amount, more than $500, they're not going to take it most of the time. 99% of the time, they won't take a check, personal check. They'll take certified funds, a cashier's check. That'll be okay. What else is there to do? Bring your state ID. Make sure it's not expired. Make sure you sign your name the way you sign your name. Don't do something funky. They also are going to present you with alias that they're going to see that you've been using over here. You don't mean to, but maybe your name is like mine's Alan S. Jimenez, and I put Alan S. Okay, but they're going to say, oh, sometimes you use AJ. Okay, well, they're going to say, all these come up. Is this going to you? Then like, yeah, that's me. No problem. What else is there? You brought your ID. Make sure it's not expired. What else is good at the title company? Expect to be there for a while. But if you get a good realtor, he's going to tell you, he or she's going to tell you, hey, stay at your house, stay in the comfort of your home. When they're ready, I will call you, because that realtor's going to steadily call. Give me the information. I'm going to be working with a loan officer. The loan officer say, yeah, the docs are there. Is that, or they're not there? Because if not, you're just going to be sitting there for hours and hours and hours. I've seen people be there for 10 hours. I'm not kidding. I was there one time from 2 in the morning. That's buying a brand new home from Kelly Homes, or what's that called? Not R. Kelly. R. Kelly Homes. No. Anyways, Perry Homes. There it is. Okay. That was a long time ago. I miss my clients too. Anyways, okay, so that's what to look for. You know about the wire instruction, you know about your check. What else is some good tips? This is a super good tip. Don't talk about anything about your job. Don't make a conversation with the title people. They're not your friend. They're not your friend, and they can stop a closing from happening if you say something weird. Like, oh yeah, I'm changing jobs. What? They're not your friend. Oh yeah, I've been in the house and I made some changes to it before we even close. What? Title commitment people, they only protect themselves and that insurance policy. They don't care about you. They're not making a lot of money. It's a set standard amount set by that state. State of Texas says, hey, it's $300,000 house. It should be about $2,200. It's flat fee. So they're not making that much money, and they have a lot of obligations as attorneys. So title people are not your friends. Don't talk a lot. Get on your phone, sit there. When it's your time to sign, boom, everything's done. Then you get the keys and get on home. I think that settles it all up. I think so. Maybe if we had a few other questions, I see a few other questions came in here. Okay, so the difference is a couple of things different about FHA and conventional loans. A lot of people ask that. It's conventional loans is loans that are not like, they're not covered by the government. So like if it's FHA, the government says, hey, it's $300,000. I'll cover 80% of that. 80% of it, if they foreclose, I'll give you 80% of that back. So, but it has to go within FHA standards, and they're going to make you pay what they call mortgage insurance. Okay, MI. So right now everybody pays PITI, which is principal, the interest, and the taxes and the insurance. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And I like taxes and insurance are always left out when you go to Zillow or Trulia or something like that. They think everybody has 20% down, But that's not the, if you don't have 20% down and you don't have A1 credit, and you'd be expecting to pay your PITI combined in one payment. I like doing that. Makes it a lot easier, but some people are not, They want that flexibility. They're like, I'd rather pay my taxes and insurance in one bulk lump sum at the end of the year. If it's $9,000 plus 2, I'd rather pay that and have the rest of the year very easy. Maybe they have their income tax comes in, they can pay all that stuff off. So it just depends on your credit, and you have to have good credit if you're gonna just put a small down payment. You can also do a structure where it's an 80-10-10 or an 80-15-5. And that means that there's a secondary lien on your home. So there's one lien, which is the main lien holder. He says, I'm going to give him 80% of the loan. And then a little workaround that is, okay, and you know how you said you had to have 20% not to pay mortgage insurance? Well, there's a workaround around if you don't have 20%. It says, well, he has good credit. I'm going to do a secondary lien behind this deal. You know, so like, yeah, the 80, I'll go ahead and get a 10% lien on it, secondary lien, and then he can put 10% down. So that 10 and 10 equals 20. So that 10% comes on the secondary, it fooled the system. It's like a little loophole in the system where you don't have to pay mortgage insurance, but you do have to pay the secondary. It's just a really cool thing. If you work with a good loan officer, I work with Vicky, who's a mortgage broker. And so she's super good. She's been doing it for a long time. Great Christian woman. Very good woman. She's probably been doing it longer than I've been alive, so like 30 years or something. Yeah, so that's that. We're talking about 80-10-10, 80-15-5, ways to make your payment shorter. Now, one other thing I like, talking about loans, now that you mentioned it. I got some. Okay. One thing I like to mention is that if you're only going to be in that property for like 5 years or 7 years, you can get a 5-1 arm or a 7-1 arm where you're only going to be there 5 years and it's going to adjust, because and that means your rate's going to be way down, because the longer you keep that rate fixed, the more expensive it becomes. You see, so I think that's about it. Yeah. And we talked about your loan. We have a long conversation about how to buy a house here in Texas. I think there's a lot of, maybe there might be some more questions out there about buying a property. And if you have some, hit them in the comments below. And I'm always responding. So I'm not one of those YouTubers that are just, you comment, you never hear from them. Usually within 1 day, if you have a question, I'm gonna reply back to you and do the best I can. We can talk about like insurance. We can talk about flood insurance. We can talk about what to look for in loopholes, more loopholes to watch out for with the seller. And if you are the seller, how to eliminate those loopholes and make those loopholes small as possible. I did this the other day and it was amazing because I made my seller another 20 grand, and then I closed a lot of loopholes fast. Instead of having a 10-day option, I put a 5-day option. Anywho, like I mentioned, if you like it, do me a favor. If you like these kind of educational videos about real estate and you want to learn more about real estate, hit the subscribe button, because I promise you one thing, you will learn from me about real estate and some other things. I'm a big positive guy, positive mindset, and just treating people right. Hit that, you know what? Hit that notification bell. It's right here, or it's right here. One of the two. Hit that notification bell and get notified. Every time I post a new video, and I've got hundreds of them up there. So I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.